Hello, welcome to Sportsmole's Reader Awards for the 2016-17 season. We're here to talk about your overall player of the season from around Europe. Plenty of nominees in this category. Matt, anyone who particularly stands out for you?
It's an extensive list, isn't it, with a lot of players that obviously enjoyed great seasons, defenders, midfielders, strikers, and it's always difficult, isn't it, to pick out, the player of the season, because it always sort of favours goals and midfielders. Talk about Ronaldo, 36 goals, 10 in the Champions League. Is he going to be in the final playing against Juventus and could fire his team to another Champions League title after already helping them to the first La Liga since 2012? Messi, 52 goals in all competitions. Say 52 goals, but that's quite normal for him, 60 goals. And you talk about players like Belotti at Torino's, obviously I think people talk about 80 plus million release clause in his contract. Manchester United, 27 goals. But I think the one that I would like to speak about is Kylian Mbappe at Monaco. Just come from, I think last season there were signs that there might be a player in here somewhere, and what he's done this season, just unbelievable. 26 goals in all competition, 15 in the league. He was scoring in the Champions League. He always seemed to pop up almost. I don't like when people compare players, but also Henri wasn't it, and that sort of player. And I think all the big clubs want him. Talking about 100 million, Real Madrid looking in that stage, and not bad being 18 and worth 100 million. He's had a great season, but it's obviously another list of 5 or 6 players in there have had unbelievable seasons as well. What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, I think Mbappe, it's hard to remember in recent memory any player that young who's had so much hype about him and who's backed it up in big games like the Champions League. Monaco, obviously, a team full of young, vibrant players who have had really good seasons. Mbappe at the forefront of that, and you wouldn't back against him becoming the first £100 million player or something, because he's got so much potential if he can keep that up. I think after the turn of year, he really blew onto a new level. He was fantastic for Monaco in the Champions League and in Ligue 1. So I'd be surprised if he wasn't up there. Obviously, you got Messi and Ronaldo, the main two, have been the main two for so long. And I think when it comes to things like the Ballon d'Or, they look at team achievements, and in that respect, Ronaldo would probably be ahead of Messi. In the individual respect, I think Messi would be ahead of Ronaldo. Another more than 50 goal season. It's sensational. It's become the norm for him, which is ridiculous because it's not normal to score 50 goals in a season. It's an incredible feat. To do it so often is absolutely remarkable. Those two again have just put themselves in even more amongst the conversation for the greatest players of all time. But then you've got players who don't necessarily grab the headlines as much. Giorgio Chiellini we've got here as one of the nominees. Incredible season. Juventus have just been amazing again this season. They've won the record 6th Serie A title, on course for the treble if they can beat Real Madrid in the Champions League final, which I think a lot of neutrals will be hoping they do for the likes of Buffon and Chiellini, who deserve something like that, because that defensive unit as a whole have been superb, and Chiellini's the leader of that. So just a throwback of a defender, a rugged defender who just does his job. And you think the two best attacks in Europe this season have been Barcelona's and Monaco's in terms of goal scores, and Chiellini was at the forefront of stopping both of those. And at the other end of that Juventus team, they're not just a defensive team, they've got Higuain, who's come up with one of the greatest goal scoring seasons in Juventus history, which is no mean feat. I think he scored as many goals as anyone since the Second World War for Juventus this season. Obviously a big money move, but he's had an incredible season. You got Barcelona's Luis Suarez there as well. You've got a couple of Chelsea players who weren't in Europe, the likes of Eden Hazard, Kante. Do you see any Premier League players challenging those foreign elite?
It's difficult, isn't it, because you're talking about the European, which I think means overall, Kante and Hazard both had good seasons, but not appearing in the Champions League is obviously a big thing. And running through the others, Dries Mertens in there. He's been linked with Manchester United as well. He's got a bundle of goals for Napoli this season. Dzeko at Roma, Manchester City. I was still surprised that they let him go, because he was always a player that when he played against Manchester United, he was a nightmare. He's big and strong, scores goals. And mentioned defenders, Marcelo in there, 10 league assists this season, helped them win their first title since 2012. He's had a great season. And then you got 2 Bundesliga strikers in there with Aubameyang, Lewandowski, both great scoring seasons. A couple of fine midfielders in Thiago and Toni Kroos as well in there. Kroos is an unbelievable player as well. So it's going to be very interesting. Seeing Ronaldo and Messi up there won't be surprised, but you'd never know. It can be anyone's, this one.
Yeah, the top 3 is going to be very interesting. As you say, I would expect Ronaldo and Messi up there, but Aubameyang overtook Lewandowski as top scorer in the Bundesliga on the final day of the season, didn't he? Thiago has just been a metronome in the Bayern Munich midfield. He's been fantastic again. Toni Kroos, as he said, for Real Madrid has been exactly the same. Could lead them to the league and Champions League double, which would be a fantastic feat as well. So should we find out who we got top 3? Very interesting one, this one.
Right, so we're going to do a top 5 on this one. In 5th place is actually Eden Hazard with 9% of the votes, and we've got 4th Kante, just over 12% of the votes. A couple of Chelsea players in there. 3rd place is Mbappe with just under 15%. not too surprising, top two. Second is Lionel Messi with just over 16%. And the winner is Cristiano Ronaldo with almost 33%. So he's doubled, he's finished well clear at the top.
I'm surprised he's almost over doubled the amount Messi got there. I think individually, as I said, Messi's probably had the standout season, but you can't argue with the fact that Ronaldo's done it in the big games, the Champions League semi-final against Atletico, obviously just sensational to fire them through to the final and past the 400 goal mark for Real Madrid, which is just a mind-blowing achievement in the time he's been there. Surprised to see such a big gap between those two, not surprised to see those two at the top, but you're glad to see Mbappe so high up there as well.
Yeah, no, it's good to see him in third. I think that's just about right, isn't it? That top three probably would have gone. I'm surprised that there's Kante and Hazard in there, especially we mentioned the Champions League side of it, and Marcelo in sixth and Chiellini seventh. That's maybe a little bit harsh, Aubameyang ninth, and Lewandowski doesn't even make the top 10 in there, so that's maybe a bit of a surprise. There's no Luis Suarez in there either, is there, in the top 10, which is something that's quite strange, but really pleased to see Kylian Mbappe up there, and he's had a great season.
Well, if he's 18 years of age and only finishing behind Messi and Ronaldo at this age, then he's going to have a very good career ahead of him, it looks like. But for now, Cristiano Ronaldo once again is your European Player of the Season.